Possibilities is Golden Gate Park. You could end up like Kezar Stadium. I mean, that looks like the route that you're taking down toward 19th, headed straight toward Golden Gate Park.
We are on 19th and California, and I know you're familiar with the area. We're just going right up 19th, and at some point we'll be heading towards downtown, I presume. But I believe that it's a different level now of security, because I don't know if you reported this or not, but I just found out that the bus that was damaged and that was attacked by protesters earlier had the Chinese delegates on that bus. So obviously the intelligence of the protesters is pretty intense and pretty advanced.
And Raj, are you up on all these diversionary tactics that they're using? Because obviously moving the mayor around was a diversionary tactic for the media and for protesters.
It was a huge diversionary tactic. Let me give you one example. You know, at the beginning of all this, or on the 115 or 130, when you saw the Olympic flame and the torch, you go into that warehouse next door to McCovey Cove, next to the Junior Giants field. I believe all the helicopters, all the media helicopters, saw the torch exiting in a van and had that torch in a van going up 5th Street. That is incorrect. The torch was actually put on a boat and taken up the bay a bit to meet everyone on Lombard and Van Ness in that area.
Any word on who were the parties involved? And you know, this sounds so much not so much like a local police department plan, and so much more like a Secret Service federal authority plan.
Jessica, that's an excellent question. I just found that answer about 2 minutes ago. I discovered the answer. Late last night, the Chinese government took over. The FBI, the DOJ, the CHP, and SFPD essentially are all working for the Chinese government in this whole operation. They took over last night. It was expected. It was smooth. There was no bitter feelings, but that's who's running the show. And they had this route all planned out, totally independent of what we believed who was in charge. And once again, there was no hard feelings. They knew this was coming. This was the Chinese government full and through.
Now, that's a delicate thing to bring up, because the DOJ, Department of Justice, certainly our U.S. government is not going to be taking law enforcement orders from the Chinese government. Perhaps they were working in concert with, and they've decided to cede some of that. But I can't imagine that the U.S. government would be taking orders from the Chinese government, maybe working together.
They're working in concert with, but the Chinese government, from what I understand here from everyone saying, they were calling the shots in the terms of the route and the security, and they were working with the support. It's very key, I should say that, with the support of the State Department and the DOJ.
Yeah, because this operation is so far more advanced than any local police department could really come up with so many. I mean, obviously the San Francisco Police Department is a top police department, but this has all the markings of some sort of government operation, the way it's being run, with the level of diversionary tactics that they've been running today.
Well, one thing we know for sure is what Mayor Newsom said yesterday. He said this would be the most intense security detail in the history of San Francisco, and that's absolutely true. And I've pretty much dealt with every level of security here, from CHP to the Foot Patrol of SFPD all the way to the State Department, and everyone seemed to be on the same page in working with the Chinese government. So I don't know the depth of everything that happened today, because here I am on the bus and with the torch, but from my vantage point, seems to be fairly uneventful and risk-free.
So you confirmed earlier that the closing ceremony will not be happening at Justin Herman Plaza. You, and I assume among the other people on that bus, the other torchbearers, are at a loss at this point as to where you're going to end up.
I don't think there's going to be a closing ceremony at all. From what I understand, we're just going to go back to wherever they're going to take us, and we're going to call it a day. I think one of those theories, we quit while we're ahead, and I think that's exactly what's happening.
Is anybody there on the bus telling you, giving you any kind of hint as to where you're going?
No. And you know what? For the safety of